Welcome, 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 everyone. Happy New Year. I'm so delighted that we are back together for another year of the Positive Psychology Hour, a series that we do in partnership with Whole Being Institute. And today we're going to be talking about saying yes to something new, creative expansion through improv with Jude, Treder, Wolff. And I am Caroline Colas. I am your host today, and I am delighted to welcome you into 2022 in this fun way. Improvisational games and exercises are immediate. They're in-the-moment experiences that give rise to something new, and they are fun and fulfilling ways to break set with mental habits, explore what-if thinking, and tap into our potential for thinking in new ways. Now, research shows that improv expands creative thinking, boosts our well-being, strengthens our resilience, and that is exactly what we need to explore possibilities and cope with stress. And guess what? There's still a lot of stress and unpredictability around, right? Wouldn't you agree? Raise your hands if you would. Yes, thank you, Judy. Thank you, Nancy. Improvisational exercises are grounded in the principle of yes and, right, which requires a readiness to step into the present moment, accept what we find there, and then respond to it. So today, we're going to join Jude and her players for a little bit of improv wisdom as we step into 2022. I want to tell you a little bit about Jude. First and foremost, she's amazing. She's a creative arts therapist turned storyteller, writer, performer, singer, songwriter, and how come I can't say that word today, Jude? Improviser, who is active in the New York storytelling scene. She books shows, workshops, and keynotes around the country, and she was recently featured on Mistakes Were Made, Risk, live shows and podcasts, Storyfest at the People's Improv Theater, Grand Slam winner of Ex Fabula, and Now You're Talking, and the Armando Diaz Experience, among many others. I welcome to the call somebody who I have had present for me on the Positive Psychology Hour, somebody who I've actually participated live in her workshops, which have been amazing, and somebody who I have hired at least twice to have a birthday party for me. With my family. So Jude, you are a woman of many, many, many talents. I'm going to go ahead and host you or spotlight you so that everyone can see you. Thank you for coming into the Positive Psychology Hour space. Again, I think last year you started us off at the beginning of 2021, and now you're back, and I'm so excited to see you.
I'm so excited to be here too. Thank you, Caroline.
You're welcome. So I'm going to let you take it away. And just one thing, anything that you're particularly bringing forth from 2021 that was like a good thing that happened, that you're like saying, okay, more of that this year.
A good thing that happened was meeting people that I never would have met if it weren't for everything being online. Meeting amazing people from around the world that I never would have had. I don't know how I would have ever connected with them, but because we have a common theme like improv or storytelling, I met these amazing people. And then some of those people I actually met in person for the first time, and it was a completely opposite way of meeting people and getting to know them. But I felt like that was a great awakening and a discovery. It was fun. Yeah, I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, put in the chat, everyone, something that you experienced in 2021 that was good, that you're going to bring forward. Let's elevate each other's spirits a little bit today, you know, as we get our players up and as Jude talks to us. What's something that happened to you in 2021? I tried an electric bike for the very first time, and I'm not going back. I mean, I love my bicycle, but I loved it. It was really, really fun. So I want to do more of that. And I saw a lot of my family, and I want to do more of that too. So yeah, let's just see what we've got here. Jude, can you see some of those things? Let's see. I agree, Jude. Judy says, meeting people and the ability to being online with different programs have been two major gifts of the pandemic. I am ever so grateful for getting back to art and creativity. Oh my God, you fell in love? That's amazing. FaceTime and Zoom connections. My only daughter joyously got married. I retired from teaching and started a health coaching practice. Wonderful. Nature. I just sent, yes, and Johnny's going to join us hopefully soon. Finally learned to welcome and learn from all my emotions. Wow, Cheryl, can you teach me? The experience of JCC WBI, my best self. Yes. Wow. I fell in love with Zentangle. Me too. And we have a Zentangle course starting this week. So if you want to sign up for that, I'll put it in the chat. I sold my house, bought a camper van, and explored the world with my house on my back. Oh, like a turtle. I love that. This led me to starting a blog and nurturing my love of writing that has taken on a whole new life. Photography on my expanding walks and sharing and talking. Wow, the chat's exploding, Jude. This is great. All right, I think we're warmed up and ready for you.
Wonderful. Okay, so if we don't have time to play with all of these wonderful, we can make scenes out of these wonderful new things that you've all shared. These are all inspiration to an improviser or a storyteller to jump off, make as a jumping off point. Today, what we're going to do is I want to share some exercises using 4 brave, creative, wonderful improvisers, some games and exercises that are things you can do with your family if you want. They're things that can be applied to doing on your own in writing. And also an invitation to take an improv class. I could highly recommend it. Just, I want to tell a very brief kind of intro to this theme. At the very beginning, in March of 2020, I had workshops and shows scheduled through the end of July in New York and around the country. I was very excited. It had taken years for me to build up this kind of agenda and a schedule where people were hiring me to do this in-person work. And I was so excited about it. And we were hearing word about maybe things weren't going so well with this virus that was going around. And I happened to be on a Google Hang with 4 improv teachers that teach in New York City, like myself, freelancers that get hired and do classes that they teach on their own for their own companies and so on. And we were talking about what we might do if this was a challenge to our work. And while we were on that Google Hang, somebody said, I'm on Twitter, Broadway just shut down. And in that moment, we knew that all of our work was canceled, that everything we knew how to do, which was get in a room with people, energize and play and create and make things happen for an audience and for each other, was not going to be able to happen. If Broadway shuts down, that shut all of us down. And we were all out of work. I had never been in an improv on Zoom. I had certainly never taught improv over Zoom. And I was 100% convinced that I could not teach improv over Zoom. Within a couple of days, those 4 improv teachers and I brainstormed, and we used our improv skills and our saying yes to the situation, which was very disruptive, to say the least, and problem solved our way to creating improv online, adapting what we knew how to do in a room to this format. Now I've been doing this for almost 2 years, teaching improv over Zoom, something that I said, I can't do it, but we found a way to say yes to it. So that improv mindset doesn't mean necessarily that we like the proposed change. It doesn't mean that we feel even good about it. It could mean that we're really, really scared. It's the yes mindset that helps us overcome all of those defenses and dread and fear that are a natural part of change and trying something new, even new things that we want, which this one I wasn't sure that I did want. And now I can't even imagine my life without it. So we're going to go through some exercises, and with these improvisers, we'll talk about them a little bit. I'm going to show you a few slides with some concepts and support from the world of writers and resources about that. The first game I want to introduce is called, let's introduce my improvisers and then I'll explain the game. So let's bring up Christine. Let's bring up Christine on the page. Great.
Hi, everybody.
Great. Let's bring up Carrie. Let's bring up Fran and Johnny. There's Carrie. Hi, Carrie. There's Fran. And did Johnny make it
here?
I don't know if Johnny.
I don't see him.
All right. If Johnny's not here, then I'll play the game with these guys. I want to make it. I think it's better with 4 people. It's to expand it out a little bit. Okay. So the game, what are you doing, goes like this. We're going to get a suggestion in the chat, just a theme to inspire the first action that we take. So, and for this, I want you to just put a word, when you hear the word new, put in a word that goes with the word new in the chat. And what we're going to do is a game where I am going to initiate, and we're going to go in this order. It'll be me, Christine, Fran, Carrie. So it's Jude, Christine, Fran, Carrie. That's the order of play. The person who initiates is going to do an action that's very specific that you can see. Person number 2 will say, what are you doing? And then the person doing the action has to name it as something other than what it actually is. And that's what player 2 begins to do that action. And what are you doing proceeds around. You've played this game, right, Carrie? What do you do? Yeah, great. Okay, so let's look at the chat and let's see what's on an inspiration, a word. New language. Okay, I'm going to take language as my inspiration for what am I?
Hey, Jude. What are you doing?
Brushing my teeth.
Oh.
Hey, Christine, what are you doing?
I'm digging a hole. Hey, Fran.
Yeah.
What you doing?
Kneading the dough.
Oh, kneading the dough again.
Harry, what are you doing?
I'm reading about decluttering. Hey, Jude, what you doing over there?
I am turning on a lamp.
Hey, Christine, what are you doing?
I'm making a big pot of pasta.
Mm.
Fran, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm drawing the sun.
Carrie, what are you doing?
I'm cleaning my glasses.
Right. Okay, I'm going to call that one. Great. So that game is simply to create a little cognitive dissonance between what your body wants to see. And you can see everybody, just share briefly, what is it like to have that moment where you're doing a thing and you have to call it something else?
Oh, we just lost her for a sec. So what was it like for you guys?
There's a moment where you freeze for a second because you are physically doing something different to think of a completely different idea. My first idea is to be related, and then you come up with something else. That's the way it is for me.
And Fran, how about for you?
It's a level of hesitation and fear of getting it wrong.
Gotcha. And how about you, Carrie?
Absolutely. There's that frozen fear moment, and then something just pops in and it somehow works.
Well, I think I'm experiencing that right now. Because Jude just disappeared. So
yeah. Jude just
right?
texted and said she lost internet. So let's
So what we're going to do is we're going to live by example and go yes and on to the next thing, because that is really what improvisation is, and what we're saying we need to do with this this technique and this this pandemic time, right? Which is the ability to say, okay, this just happened. Yes, we're going to say yes to it, and we're going to go for it. All right. So Christine, what is the next exercise that you guys were going to do?
So the next exercise, I don't remember the exact title of it, but we're going to start with inspiration from the group.
Okay.
Again, just kind of like what we did. And one of us is going to begin a monologue about that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So do we need from the group anything in particular?
The kind of just what we did, a word, an inspiring word or an idea.
Okay. So how about this? Well, all right. An inspiring word, a word that inspires you. We've got flowers, dam, keep going. Dance, rise, joy, zygote.
Okay. Why don't we go with flowers? Why don't we go with flowers?
Flowers.
So the idea is one person is going to be consistent, and then one person will take on a positive approach to flowers, and then somebody else will have a different view on it.
Okay. Is there 2 players at a time?
Yeah.
There are.
Okay. So Carrie, I'm going
before that, Fran. I'm sorry.
Which one? That's okay.
It's where you continue. So our first improviser will start a monologue, and I will be the Jude role, and I will tell you to change. And then the next person is going to pick up with the very last line spoken and continue the monologue. And then I will say change again, and the next person will continue with the monologue.
Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. You're going to be Jude.
I'll be
Christine.
Jude.
And the players will be Carrie and Fran.
Right.
And I am going to disappear so that you guys
so we're going to say the idea is flowers. And Fran, do you want to start? And then we'll.
Sure. So I think flowers are wonderful when you first buy them and you want to plant them and you're so excited spring is coming. And this is, you don't put them in until after Mother's Day. But they take a lot of work, flowers, really. So, you have to like water them. You have to get up early to do that, earlier than your work day. But there are so many different colors, like
change.
Colors. We love them. We love color. And I've been studying online information that I can find for free about color and how you can use the color wheel to figure out what colors will work in your space. And like you go opposites, or you can go, or you can from the wheel. I'm talking about from the wheel. Like if you have one color and then you're supposed to take a color from the other side to complement the color.
To complement the color, although, it's also important to have like a feelings chart around your flowers, because sometimes, like the color, I may be blue and like the mood to that is discontent. So when I'm ordering my flowers, I have to know like what kind of mood I'm in. Do I want to give them
what kind of mood I'm in? I mean, it changes constantly. It's like I wake up, I the first thing in my head, it could be, oh my God, I slept so well. And then the next thought is, oh, wait a minute, that was the wrong first thought to have.
Change.
That was the wrong first thought to have, which was to just like, not say hi to my neighbor while they were watering their flowers. And there's somewhat of a competition in our neighborhood. And, I do believe that it's important to be a good neighbor. Not always a good neighbor. Sometimes I see them and I just sit in my car and I pretend I'm doing something so I don't have to get out and say hello.
Change.
So that I don't have to get out and say hello, I just pretend that I'm really busy on the phone and reading and writing. But really the only thing that I'm busy doing is trying to avoid them, to be honest.
And seeing.
But,
right.
Beautiful. All right.
That was good improvising because we usually do that with 4 people. So
Awesome.
Fran and Carrie rocked that.
Okay, so what I'd like to do now is I'm going to share Jude's PowerPoint. She happened to send it to me, and we are going to go through it a little bit. And then if you guys have some things that you want to add, but first, let's kind of just have a rainfall of joy for our performers. Some applause from the audience. Please tell them, you know, one thing that you enjoyed and just say, good job, right? And ready? 1, 2, 3. Put it in the chat because they would normally hear that. Fabulous. Loved how you switched on a dime. All right. Nice job. You all are so playful. Love it. Loved watching your presentation come through. Made me laugh. Carrie, I love your smile. Gorgeous. Keep them coming. Okay, so let me remove the spotlights and then we will shift again and I will share my screen with you guys. All right. Yes, and you're seeing it in action. Hang on one second. I have to move this and so I can share my screen. All right, I have to go. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, and I just need to go. Do I go up here to play from the start?
Present.
Slide?
You can do that, or you can go to the present mode. Do you see that on the upper right-hand corner?
Oops, I hit something.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on. Are you guys still there?
Yep.
Can you still see my screen?
I just see a cute girl, little girl.
Oh gosh, hang on. Sorry, you guys. Let me try this again. Open. Open. All right. Now, here are you guys. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Say yes. Okay. And present. I see where it says present. Fantastic. Doesn't seem to give me the option to do that because it's still downloading. All right, everyone. Well, here's what I know about, here we go, present. Present review, present from beginning. Okay, tell me if you can see it or when you can.
Still says loading.
Yeah. Oh, wait for a second. Say yes to something new. All right, everyone, we're going to have a little bit of participation here. What are you saying? I don't know what happened there. Hang on, 3. What are you saying yes to this year in 2021? Please put in the chat.
Oh, Jude's back.
Fantastic. Let me make her a
2022.
Oh, thank you. 2022. Was that Lois?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Hang on one second. What are you saying yes to in 2022? All right. Hang on. Oh my gosh. I'm saying yes to whatever. There we go. I've lost you guys. You've lost me. Jude, are you here?
I'm here. Sorry,
Okay.
guys. I have no idea what happened to my internet. It just went away.
That's all right. We said yes, Anne.
Yes, you did. Thank you. Thank you for carrying the ball there. That's what it's all about. All right. So do you want me to, can I jump in?
Yes, you can.
What are you guys doing? Just tell me what I missed.
We were just about to show your PowerPoint.
Well, let's go back. Let's do that. Let's look at the first slide, the second slide, just so we could point out because the first one has the title on it. Or should I share my screen now?
I'm nervous about you sharing your screen.
Then let's do it. Then let's not do that. Okay.
So can you do me a favor and do another game, another improv game that can tell you what they did already, and then I will get this up for you.
Yes. What did you do while I was searching madly to get my internet back?
We did
Guys?
the second exercise.
So did you make it back full circle to, did you do the one where you went back? What's the word association?
No. No. So it's the third one, the monologue, where the person picks up the last sentence that you said.
Oh, okay. All right. So that was okay. That was did you process that at all? Did you talk about what that was, what the purpose of it was, or what, how far did you get?
Not yet. We just did it, and then we thought we were brilliant, and we got a chance.
Thought the improvisers were brilliant. I love that. Okay,
yes,
great,
and
great.
And everybody, we did sort of like an applause in the chat, and had everybody do that, and then
yeah. They were brilliant. It said. Yes. So okay, so improvisers. Let's just talk about what is what's challenging about that exercise, and what is. Let's start with that. What's challenging about it?
So I love how it forces me to pay attention, because I'm always so in my head, but I know that I have to pay attention because I never know when it's going to be called. And I have to know what that last line was.
Right. Good. Yeah. So active listening, and you can't think ahead, right? You can't think ahead, which is a negative and a positive. I mean, it's not a negative, but I mean, it's a challenge, and it's also focusing of sort of a mindfulness thing. Who called the changes? Caroline called the changes?
Christine.
No, Christine.
Oh, Christine called the changes. Okay, great. So Fran, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you left, so I immediately, like, I'm frozen and leaving too. Bye. But it was more challenging because there's only two of us going back and forth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely
not wanting to move away from the mood, but yet wanting to move away from the mood, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Set by the other person.
Right.
I have to say, Jude, that they were amazing going back and forth, and they had to completely be on the entire time because it was just them, and it moved pretty quickly, and we were all a little jarred, you know. So just to show how this is like a real live example of how improv can impact your life, because I may, you know, before improv, I may have completely panicked and broken down at that point. And I mean that. But I was like, nope. And Caroline jumped right in and said, we're going to yes and that. And I was like, yes and. That's all I needed to hear, right? And we all tried to work together to just make it work. Not as eloquently as you do, but.
Well, that's I love that you're saying that, because you guys said yes to something new, which is suddenly you have to do this without the director, without the facilitator, and just take on new roles. And Carrie wasn't in the warm up. So, so Carrie was just doing it without that aspect of it. And that's it's just a power of the yes and the commitment. I'm going to try. Yeah. And the thing about improv that is, I think, and thank you so much, Christine, for that testament to real life applications of this stuff, is if we say, I'm going to try, and I'm going to try hard. I'm going to give it a full court press. Something triggers that, something in our brain flips past our defenses just to try, because the important thing really isn't the outcome. The important thing is, how resilient am I if it doesn't go well? Can I try again? And you guys were very resilient, because I have no idea why my internet drops out suddenly at the least good moment, or the first time in weeks. But it happened, and so you made it work. So thank you for those thoughts. Now, Jude,
Jude, can you talk more about that, about the resilience and how it matters, not so much the outcome, but that we try?
Yes.
Why is that? That's such an important thing for going forward in 2022. So just unpack that a little bit more for us.
Well, the tendency can we flip to one of the slides? Because this is actually in there.
Sure.
Oh, do you have that figured out or not? Is that okay?
Yes,
are we ready
I do.
For that? Okay.
We are.
Because I think this will address that question. Oh, now we need the page.
Hang on.
Okay.
I need to go like this. Do you see it now?
Yes.
And then I need to do present from beginning.
Yes.
And then I need to.
Okay. And we'll go to the next one. Great. So this is a quote by the amazing psychoanalyst, and ending with a psychological and spiritual approach to mental health and transcendence, Carl Jung. He said, the creation of something new is not accomplished by the intellect, but by the play instinct. The creative mind plays with the objects it loves. So when we were just talking about resilience, the question of resilience is what gives us a sense of bounce, a sense of possibility, a sense that we can move forward. And that is often either love of the idea, love of the people we're playing with, love of the creative process. It could just be, saying that the yes shifts us over into, if you're like, as if you're playing ping pong and you're just bouncing that ball back and forth, it engages the brain in a way that says, okay, I'll do this now. And then when somebody does a foul ball, I'll just start again. So the play instinct isn't, it can be about winning, but it can also be about playing and trying again, try a new game. Let's see if I could do better this time. And that's kind of baked into, go ahead.
In relationship to quitting, like being so overwhelmed that you just like have had enough, this kind of plays with that, doesn't it? It says, wait a second, begin again.
Exactly. And if you use the idea that if you're playing even a video game, but any game, and improv is framed as games because it is framed as play, even though it's training your brain in a very serious way, that when you're playing a video game or any other game, at some point, the game, there's a foul ball or the game ends and then you go, oh, I now know what's wrong with my curveball. I now know where my swing, what was wrong with my swing. And then you try again based on that information. So it's always about a new game, a new try. So let's go to the next slide because that's something that is very current. And actually there's an article that you can just put this title, Why We All Need to Have More Fun, in a Google search. And this article will come up. It's not about improv, but it is about fun and playfulness.
Mm-hmm. Did we lose her again? So let's see what we've got. Playfulness isn't about playing games. It's a quality of lightheartedness that allows you to do things in everyday life just for the pleasure of it. Studies show that playfulness can be stimulated by looking for ways to be more playful, and that playful people are better at managing stress. All right, everybody, it's time to hear from you. How do you play? Please put in the chat how you play. And if one of you could read for me what some of the responses are, that would be great, because I can't do that at the same time as I am doing the Carrie, do you want to read the doll?
Sure.
Someone said, yeah, go ahead. Can you read the chat?
Sudoku, playing with my grandchildren in the park, through creating through art, play music. I go out of my way to walk on the block with the dancing lights.
Nice. All right, so let's switch to our next slide. Something new may trigger a sense of threat, even if the change is something we want or need. And I think that's a bit what Jude was talking about, right? Mm-hmm. Be creative and have fun is what that says. And look at the very creative way that graphic is displayed. I love that it says be fun. Basically, right? We may not be able to think our way out of that mindset, that negative pull. We know that the brain has a negativity bias, and there is a negative pull when we get into that anxious mind, right? To anxiety, worry, and self-protection. It's really strong. But a combination of action and experience in a different direction can be very effective. Hang on, if you need to, Carrie, I think you have to mute. There you go. But a combination of action and experience in a different direction can be very effective at shifting to a more receptive mindset. So what I feel like, and having taken classes from Jude before, is improv seems to activate the growth mindset, right? Fixed versus a fixed mindset. And we talk about that a lot in positive psychology. And the other thing, we've had people on the call before that have talked about just getting into motion, just going for a walk. And so when Jude was saying just trying, just doing something else can activate our sense of playfulness, it can change us and shift us from this sort of set, quitting, I can't do it, negative place into a more positive place. Improvisation is teaching yourself new behavior, a new way to work, a new way to exist. As we incorporate the new stimuli and information from the improv activity, the activity itself mutates and recomposes in unknown directions. I would say that that's true about every conversation. Think about it, everyone. Every conversation we have is an improvisation. We really don't know what the other person is going to say, and we don't know how it's going to turn out. So we are doing improv all the time, and we might not realize it. When we trust our intuitive instincts to take us somewhere useful, interesting, and challenging, we walk the tightrope of our minds and our hearts. And this is, of course, by Joseph Keefe, founder of Second City. Oops. Hang on. Let me just make sure. Yeah. And we're going to go back to you guys again. Let me stop sharing the screen and do another game. I just have to come back to you. Oh, all right. I'm going. Yeah, I just have to do it this way. Okay. So can I have my players back? Let me highlight you. On the screen. Oopsie. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay. My screen is doing some tricky things as well. So let's see what we've got. 12 new messages in the chat. Word searches and cross stitch. Oh, you guys are like the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu. You were talking about what you're bringing forward. I love it. Let's see. I want to see if I can, yes, I can spotlight Carrie. I can spotlight Christine, and I'm going to spotlight Fran, and I am going to spotlight myself, and if I can find myself. And I'm going to put myself on the spot, so to speak. Whatever game you guys are playing, I'm going to try just like I was one of the audience members, see, so you guys can feel like you can do this too. Go ahead, Christine, what game should we play?
So I'm gonna ask Fran to explain, because this was the game where, is that okay, Fran? That we were talking about before, and you have a good grip on this one.
So which game? I'm sorry.
It's the love, the hate, the wisdom about the topic,
so
right?
One character is going to pick a position and talk about something the audience gives us. And Carrie's going to pick one position of siding with her or agreeing or loving the idea or loving what it is she's talking about. And I'll take on the role of not so much. And Christine, the most of everybody, of whoever's up on the screen with her and talking with her at that time.
Okay, so is this a 2-person game or a 4-person game?
Everybody.
Okay. We could do 4, right? Yeah.
Okay, so if I wanted to participate, when do I come in?
So you might come in as the philosophical wisdom person on the topic who sees it from both sides. So we have extreme on either side, and then somebody who can kind of pick up the ball and see it on both sides. And you choose when you come in. After, a minute or so on each person, then the next person jumps in, and I take on the energy of whoever the person is I'm dealing with. Okay, I'm like both sides now. Yeah. Okay, I got my role. All right, you guys in the chat, give us a topic. And how's that sound? Can they do that? Can we involve them? Sure, yes. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So who's got it? Just throw some topics in there. Okay, we've got a whole bunch. Let's see what we've got. Travel, traffic, traffic.
I think it's
Climate
traffic.
change.
I think it's traffic.
Okay.
Out in the world with traffic. So I think everybody mutes their, turns off their video, right, Fran, to start?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So I go into positive monologue about traffic. Is that?
Okay. You want to do it, Carrie? Sure. Yep.
All right. So yeah, traffic. I'm in traffic. There's cars all over. It's slow. I want to change lanes. I can't see. This guy is he gonna let me in? He's letting me in. I'm changing lanes. And now this lane seems to be slowing down.
I love that about traffic too, though, Carrie. You know, I love when you are sitting in traffic, you really realize the kindness of people. You're sitting there getting a little frustrated maybe, but you know what? The guy in the next lane lets you in front of him. What a good feeling that is. Carrie, come back with me. Let's have a conversation about it. It's such a good feeling.
It is a good feeling. It's a great feeling because there's you have to remember that if you keep that positive attitude, right? The law of attraction, right? So if I want to change lanes, someone's going to let me in. It's inevitable.
Okay, see,
right,
I just whole conversation somewhat annoying. I love the way the gurus are starting to make traffic be something like we could philosophically make about our lives. Let someone in, open the lane, merge where you will. It's ridiculous. We have this big open world and we're stuck bumper to bumper in traffic, trying not to make eye contact with people because they're doing things in their cars that have windows that I can see. So traffic is a horrible thing on every level.
Come on, Fran. Traffic is a miracle. I mean, we get cars to drive around in. It's amazing when you think about it. We don't have to walk everywhere or ride a horse. Isn't it cool?
I agree with you, Carrie. It is a miracle. Cars are a miracle. The fact that we have steering wheels are a miracle. The fact that there's other cars and they're colored and they have different colors and they have different, like, what do you call those, headlights and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I kind of see Fran's point, you know, because when there's a lot of all that together, it gets kind of hot and sticky and people get congested and I think that they can get frustrated. So I don't know. It feels a little bit like,
you know, though, being in traffic, man, it gives you time that you didn't know you had. And that's the beautiful thing about traffic. I can listen to music. I don't have anybody asking me any questions. It's just me.
I have no time. I have no questions. I have nothing but traffic. Ahead of me, behind me, to the side of me. There's nothing good that could come of traffic because when I'm in traffic, I start remembering the people I have resentments with. And I have Bluetooth, so I'm dangerous.
You know what traffic means to me? It means there's other people. There's other people in the world. Isn't that great?
People who need people are the luckiest people, don't you think? But then maybe they haven't met the kind of people that are really impatient in traffic. So I don't know. It seems like it's sometimes a miracle and sometimes a pain.
And scene.
All right, Let us know how we did in the chat. Give us some love bombing.
Jude is back.
I'm back, you guys. I'm completely blown away by what you just did. That's amazing. You guys did the game. Wow. Amazing.
Thank you for coming back. It's a miracle.
It's a miracle. I don't know. This feels like the worst luck, but in a way, it's so cool to like jump in and go, oh, they're playing the game. That, like, so yeah. Wonderful. So what are people saying in the chat about this? I mean, I have loads to say, and my internet will probably cut out the minute I start to say it. So good.
Let's see. Ladies, you are all terrific. Fran, you are hilarious. Loved it. Fabulous, amazing, and so funny. Good job. I know, good. Fran, you all were cracking me up. I don't know. And then I realized I was off mute, and I thought, oh my God, people can hear me laughing probably. Good thing you weren't in the same room. It's true, with each other. There could have been a need for a referee. Great thinking. Yes, that was great. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to talk fast and hope that my internet doesn't crap out. So here's the thing about a game like this. So it's a gear shifting game. So I don't know if you guys set it up. I don't know if we were doing it exactly how we set it up. It doesn't matter because it's about, this is true. And then let me shift gears and say this other thing could be another angle on the same thing. And that we can take different perspectives on the same thing and we can shift gears. And that mental agility is not only a good creative thinking exercise. If you take the point of view that you love it, or you take the point of view that you don't love it, or you take the point of view that there's certain wonderful things about it, but it's also a pain, but maybe challenges are good, that wisdom, that middle ground. Then when you commit hard to that point of view, your brain gets ignited to come up with another idea on that theme. And that we find out that we can take different points of view on the same thing. And improvisers are always, as you guys have proved today, very mentally agile. So it's we were
talking, Jude, we were reading the slides and I was commenting that it really is about fixed mindset and growth mindset, right? And I know that you have talked in your workshops that I've been to one of your workshops, and actually Tal Ben-Shahar was in that workshop. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And if you remember that, and it seems to me like this is one way to shift us out of the negativity bias.
It absolutely is. And if everybody's familiar with the negativity bias, that's kind of in the slides too, if you were looking at them, that when we are presented with change, we can tend to contract and feel immediately a sense of threat. It's just a natural self-protection. It doesn't mean that you're a negative person. It means that our brain is going, I'm not used to this. I'm not sure I can do this. And we'll be able to make the change. We will be able to make it if we go step by step. And if coming from an idea that change is possible. So what Caroline is suggesting there with the growth mindset is that the growth mindset would posit that we adopt the idea that change is possible, and that I, through my own effort, can change my brain, and through my own effort, I can change myself. That I'm not fixed with a certain talent set, with a certain intellect, a certain set of circumstances, that I'm just given that, and that's where I lie. And in that, when it comes to talent, abilities, and our level of intelligence, it can be a challenge to think I can grow my own intelligence. And yet the studies show that we can. Through experiences, we can grow our own intelligence. So this is a growth mindset exercise. It's just try on this way of thinking, try on another way of thinking. Briefly, and then we used to do an exercise in the growth mindset workshop, and maybe you were there for this one, Caroline, that I could just throw out there as something you might do in writing. So I wanted to say to everybody, you could do some of these exercises by yourself in writing. The word association exercise. Pick a word, write about it, take the last 3 words, turn the page, start with those 3 words, and let yourself go. And there's another exercise that we would do that I made it up. It was called, I based it on the movie Jaws. And in the movie Jaws, you have a town that needs the beach. It needs the business of the beach. It needs a happening thing on the 4th of July. So this big threat comes to the big 4th of July celebration, a gigantic killer shark, which the mayor says, there's no gigantic killer shark. You're crazy. We're not shutting things down for the gigantic killer shark. Don't try to tell me that you have to do that. The scientist comes along and he goes, this shark is a terror. You have to shut down the beach. And Sheriff Brody is right in the middle. He's listening to the mayor saying, we can't afford it. The scientist is saying, people are going to die. It's going to be terrible. And Sheriff Brody is taking in both sides of those arguments, and he has to make moment-to-moment decisions about what to do. And that really represents different parts of ourselves. There's the part of us that wants it to be okay and wants things to be the same and open the beach on the 4th of July. That's the way I live. That's the way I want to be. And then there's the scientist part of ourselves, the part of us that's curious and inquiring and exploring and finds out, oh, for me, it was a long time ago. It was, I can't eat sugar anymore. That was a tough one. I can't do that. It terrorizes my body. I just can't do it. I can't function. The science part of me said, that's what you have to do. And Sheriff Brody and me said, maybe that's a good point. But the mayor in me said, no way. No, that's going to ruin the whole party. You can't do that. And they're not at war. They're just different. They're different points of view. So we do a lot of improv exercises where somebody does you could do a monologue as the sheriff, something we really need to maybe make a change, a monologue as the mayor. I'm not giving up sugar no matter what. This is the party. This is the fun in life. Nothing will be good, and so on. And then write them out and then have them interact, which we would do in improv. But you can also do it in writing. So I just wanted to say that's a growth mindset exercise that I think we did in one of those.
It's so perfect too, isn't it, for what we're experiencing when we're talking about the new year, right? Like some people set intentions. We know that New Year's resolutions actually don't work. I think making a promise to yourself is probably better, which is like what you were saying, look, I'm not going to do the sugar thing. And then there's different parts of our brain, right? It's that have different needs, right? And we're having all these conversations. And I think that that's really important, Jude, to let people know that we don't always often have a consensus inside our head, because even in our own need, you have the limbic brain that wants this pleasure from the sugar.
Yes, and the limbic brain feels upset also, feels threatened and upset. So I just wanted to say this before I sign off on this or my internet cuts out. There's a fourth character in that story, and that is the fisherman guy. I can't remember his name. The fisherman who's got expertise in killing sharks. And that is the skill development that we can do to say, I can make this change if I develop some skills. Quint, that's his name. Quint. He's the expert and he's got the stories and but that I relate that to, if we have the skills and and this is what improv grows, the skills of change, the skills of collaboration, connection, flow, creative thinking, gear shifting, trying on ideas, trying on roles. We don't have to be attached to any of it, but there's a Quint in us too that can develop a skill and then put that skill to use. And maybe that kills the shark.
And is that a great example of reframing? In positive psychology, we talk about, perspective taking and reframing. Is that also what we're doing in this case and then with improv?
Absolutely. Well, when you guys were doing that exercise the internet allowed me back into the room, that is a gear shifting. I'm sorry, perspective taking. Is that what you just asked me? The perspective? Yes. Yeah. Perspective taking is to take a hard look at, I love this. I don't love this. You could take other points of view, which is this impresses me. It doesn't impress me. This scares me. This delights me. We could take any different points of view and we could embrace them all. And then they merge into what I would call wisdom, which is there's a little piece of truth in all of them. I heard you guys talking about traffic. And I love that one. I love the rants about traffic because I live with it, because I live on Long Island. But I want to say a very dear friend of mine very specifically said that he used to just curse the traffic on Long Island every day. And then the pandemic happened and there was no traffic, and he grieved that there was no traffic. And then when the life kind of came back and it got back into a little bit of normal, he realized that because of traffic coming back, he embraced Audible, which is listening to books that he would never read. So it was the middle ground of like, I hate the traffic, but I have this new gift, which is I listen to novels that I don't have time to read because I'm sitting in traffic. So and
that is a perfect note to end on, which is, what gifts are we going to bring into 2022 from what exists right now, right? We might not be able to change anything that is in our life, our circumstances, but we can change ourselves, and we can change our perspective, can't we, Jude? And we can add, yes, this is true, and
try to have fun.
Right. And we can
as much fun as you can.
I love it. All right. I'm going to take off all the spotlights. I'm going to I just thank everyone so much for joining us today, for finding our players, Christine, Fran, and Carrie, and Jude, for allowing the internet to really wreak havoc and be mischievous and force me into playing as well. I loved it. It was totally not expected at all. And what a joy for me to just spend time in this way with all of you. Happy New Year, everyone. We wish you just safety and peace. And I hope this year is a little gentler, a little kinder, and we can all bring that in by getting that kindness high by helping someone else. All right. Please feel free to unmute. Thank our players. Thank Jude. And it's all about resilience, everybody.
So much.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
See you on Thursday. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
So much fun.
Bye.
Bye, guys.